Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. Today I wanted to do an updated drugstore foundation routine for specifically oily skin. If you have been around my channel for a while now, you know that I have very oily skin. I'm also pretty translucent, and I do struggle with hormonal acne, as you can maybe see right now, as well as larger pores. So these are the drugstore products that I find work really well for my skin type. Also, I've been trying out a new drugstore foundation, which is basically why I made this video. I just really wanted to kind of share my thoughts and do kind of a try on and wear test for you guys, because I've been just slowly falling more and more in love with it. The lighting in this video might be a little wonky. I'm doing my best to keep it even though. I just recently moved all of my makeup from my office into our bathroom. It's just where I use it the most. Everything that I kept in my office I wasn't reaching for, so I've decided to just like film where my makeup is when I film these makeup videos. But I need to kind of figure out a better lighting situation. But for now, that'll do. So first things first, I'm going in with probably my favorite drugstore primer. It's the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. I find this works quite well. And I'm just taking like half of a pea-sized amount, if that makes any sense, and just kind of smoothing it over the areas where I have the biggest pores. And especially over the bigger acne spots, because this primer just kind of makes the foundation slide over those problem areas. And currently I have a lot of hormonal acne and texture. I always get it on my cheeks, so just kind of taking whatever is left on my fingers and smoothing it over those areas. My tip for this primer is to let it kind of sit on your skin for a minute or two. I find that it just becomes a little tackier than it is when you first apply it, and it just kind of seems to kind of melt into the skin a little bit if you give it a little bit of time before going in with your foundation. So because I have such oily skin, I like to kind of give my skin a light misting of setting spray kind of between each layer of base product. I'm going in with my Milani Make It Last setting spray. If you've watched a few of my makeup videos before, you'll know that this is my all-time favorite drugstore setting spray. It's just the best, the most comparable I find at the drugstore to the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, which I also adore, but this is just significantly cheaper. And I'm gonna let that dry down a little bit before going in with my foundation, which I'm really excited to show you guys. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear Foundation. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but it's totally worth it. I have the shade 405 Porcelain, which is actually the second lightest shade, which kind of shocked me because normally in any drugstore foundation I'm always the lightest shade, and even those are often still too dark for me. This, as the second lightest shade, is surprisingly pretty spot on. So for lighter skin tones, I haven't really explored the full color range, but for lighter skin tones I'd say they have a pretty fantastic selection. So I've already shaken this up. I'm just going to put one pump onto the back of my hand. So now that that has warmed up a little bit, I like to go in with a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. I should say this is the Real Techniques Beauty Blender dupe. And I'm just going to pick some up off the back of my hand and just start from the center of my face, working my way out. So I kind of just start where my pores are the largest and where I feel like I need the most coverage. Speed this up. Okay, so this is 1.5 pumps, and applying it with a damp beauty blender kind of shears it out, which for everyday wear I prefer. I will say though, I've applied it with a brush with my MAC 170 and with a dry makeup sponge, and if you do it that way, either of those ways, you do get a lot more coverage out of this foundation. I just prefer a thinner coverage for everyday wear, so I'm going to leave it there, still kind of letting some of my bigger acne spots show through, but it did a really good job of just evening everything out. I love this foundation. I think I've been using it for almost 3 weeks now, which is actually, I've had a solid amount of time to test it out and decide if I like it. And they're not kidding when they say 24 hours of wear. I was really, really bad and slept with my makeup on after a very late night, and the morning after, my oils had come through, obviously, but the makeup was still all in place. It hadn't really budged. And that's kind of something else I noticed about this foundation is while it doesn't stop all of my oils from coming through like a super matte full coverage foundation would, it kind of just looks better with wear. So throughout the day, as my natural oils come through a little bit, it kind of just starts to look a little bit dewy. It reacts really well when I blot it with blotting papers, or even just like when I separate a tissue and use one half of the tissue to blot. It doesn't seem to make the foundation separate at all. So overall, I'm super, super impressed with it. It's an affordable everyday foundation for oily skin. So yeah, now I'm going to go in with my concealers and correctors. If you know me, you know how in love I am with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. I have the shade Fair. I've gone through probably about 1.5 million of these. They're just so, this is such a good concealer. I use it more as a corrector because they don't really have a shade light enough to be like a highlighting concealer for me. So just because the formula really doesn't crease and they have a really nice salmon-y shade, at least for my skin tone, it makes a really, really awesome corrector for me. So, sorry guys, I don't have a mirror close in this setup, so I'm looking like at the bathroom mirror, which is pretty far away. So it's a little hard to see. But, so I actually like to apply it and let it sit for maybe 20 seconds just to kind of get set in place, and then I'm going to go in with my warm finger to blend it out. I'm also going to use this guy to apply a light layer of coverage to this ginormous pimple under my nose. But again, I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and now that I have, I'm just going to kind of pat it in with my finger. And for everyday wear, I'm going to leave it there. I'm okay with my acne showing through a little bit. I do want to mention though that if I was going out and I wanted to look really nice and really flawless, I would cover this up further. And one of my favorite drugstore products for covering up acne spots is actually from Hard Candy. It's the Camouflage Heavy Duty Concealer. Can I just say, this is an amazing drugstore concealer, and I think it was like maybe $4, maybe even less than $4. It's very, very heavy though, so I would advise a light hand, but that's what I would normally go in with to cover any really, really stubborn dark acne scarring. I'm going to now go in with another misting of my setting spray. Just to kind of help those base products all melt together, and then I'm going to go in with a highlighting concealer. So now for a little extra coverage as well as a little bit of a brightener, I'm going in with my Maybelline New York. I don't even know, I think this is actually called the Fit Me Concealer. A lot of it has worn off. I have the shade 15 Fair, which might be the lightest shade. If there's a shade 10, I'll link that one down below, because this almost isn't light enough, I guess. So I'm not going to do a ton, just because again, this is everyday makeup and I want to keep it relatively light, but I am going to go in now with my damp sponge and just blend that out really, really gently. Okay, and now you guessed it, I'm going in with another light misting of the Milani Make It Last setting spray. I'm going to let that dry down completely, and then I'm going to go in with my drugstore powder. So if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I like to let my foundation and my base products kind of sit and sink in for 10 to 20 minutes before I powder. So that's what I did. I just went and had a bagel. And now I am back. Everything is kind of melted together. It all kind of looks a little bit more skin-like now that it has had a chance to kind of sit on my skin for a little bit. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to powder with my all-time favorite drugstore powder. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte It's all worn off, but it's the long-lasting pressed powder, and I have the shade 001 Transparent, which is necessary for my very pale skin. I'm going in with my Real Techniques setting brush just to do around my nose, under my eyes, you know, the areas that are a little tougher to get to, but that you still want to cover. And now for the rest of my face, I'm going in with a bigger, softer brush. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush, which I really like using for powder. And I'm just going to lightly dust the powder along or around the rest of my face. And now, just to make the powder sink in a little bit and take away some of the powderiness, I guess, make it all look a little more skin-like, I'm going to again go in with my setting spray and let that sink in fully, and then I'm going to move on to the rest of my makeup.
Hello, how'd you do? I'm not broken, I'm just split in two. Hope you're fine, ain't got time to do everything you said you would. Frames of the past and the memory of you just come running by. Pictures of sunny days with your smile in the bar. How could they say I was broken? How could they say you made me come undone? Now I know that it's okay. Unlike my friends, you are nothing like them. How could they say I was broken? How could they say you made me come?
Okay guys, so that is pretty much it for me today. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was short and sweet. I feel like I've been filming for a while, but I'm going to try and condense it down, because really I wanted the focus to be on the base routine, because I find that that makes the biggest difference in how long my makeup wears. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to check out any of the products I used in this video, I will link everything in the description box down below. If you guys did like the video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. That would be awesome. It would really help out this video and my channel. And if you're not subscribed and you want to keep hanging out over here on my little corner of the internet, just be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button to make sure that I actually show up in your YouTube subscription inbox. And if you guys have any drugstore recommendations for me and you have a similar skin type especially, please for sure let me know in the comments down below. I love drugstore makeup and I'm always hunting for the next best thing. But yeah, that's it from me today. I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Now I know that it's okay. Unlike my friends, you are nothing like them. Try to be